Chapter 41. Cultivation Breakthrough, Demon Saint's Cultivation Technique. Entangled by the major chiliocosm thunderstorm, Yi Sanling was in utter despair. He hurriedly turned his head and shouted, "I admit defeat. I surrender. Don't kill me." Hanju used the Six Paths soul absorption technique and sucked his nascent soul into his hand. The Six Paths spirit energy wrapped around Yi Sanling's nascent soul like invisible shackles, immobilizing him. Hanju turned around. He first returned to the battleground and found Yi Sanling's storage ring before returning to his cave abode. The black hell chicken opened its eyes and looked curiously at the tiny figure in Hanju's hand. Yi Sanling was terrified. His tiny nascent soul trembled. Hanju placed him on the ground and sat on the bed, looking down at him. "What's the raincoat sect's intention?" Hanju asked. Yi Sanling gritted his teeth as he replied, "Annex the Jade Pure Sect and capture their geniuses together. After the Jade Pure Sect is destroyed, these geniuses have nowhere to go and can only join the Raincoat Sect." Hanju continued to ask, "Is this only against the Jade Pure Sect or the entire cultivation world?" "The entire cultivation world." "You're very daring. Is there a soul formation cultivator in your sect?" "Of course." Yi Sanling answered truthfully. In the face of death, he couldn't care less. "Is there anyone at the Void Amalgamation Realm?" Hanju asked with narrowed eyes. Yi Sanling said helplessly, "That's a legendary realm. At least I've never heard of anyone achieving it in the sect. However, our leader is already at the peak of the soul formation realm. If the Raincoat sect is so strong, why is it hiding in the dark? No matter how strong you are, you can't fight against the entire cultivation world directly." The painful lesson from 1,000 years ago made our leader very cautious. "Where are the geniuses of the Jade Pure Sect imprisoned?" "Well, I really don't know. I'm just an ordinary deacon." An ordinary deacon who was at the 7th level of the nascent soul realm. Hanju felt that the Raincoat sect was very dangerous. It was too scary. Yi Sanling said cautiously, "Senior, please let me go. I won't do it again. I swear, I won't come to the Jade Pure Sect again." Yi Sanling has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points: 6 stars. Irresolvable except for death. Hanju raised his eyebrows. "Young man, your path has gotten narrower." Hanju raised his hand at lightning speed and the unparalleled finger divine sword shot out, directly killing Yi Sanling's nascent soul. The black hell chicken shuddered upon seeing this. This was the first time it saw Hanju kill the enemy. After Yi Sanling died, Hanju began to inspect his storage ring. As expected of a 7th level nascent soul realm expert, the resources in his storage ring were truly abundant. This storage ring was very big. The spirit stones piled up into small hills. There were various equipment, cultivation technique manuals, medicinal pills, and many other treasures. Hanju first looked at the cultivation technique manuals. They were all cultivation techniques and spell techniques. He didn't like them. As for equipment, they were only used by fiendish cultivators. Hanju started to check the pills. Soon he discovered a pill that could increase his cultivation level to the nascent soul realm. 6 paths spirit energy entered the pill, and he felt a surging spirit chi emanating from it. Hanju immediately started to consume it. 2 years later, Hanju broke through to the 6th level of the nascent soul realm. The black hell chicken had already become a majestic rooster. Its intelligence had also finally reached the level of a 7 or 8-year-old child. It could speak in the human language now. It was worth mentioning that when the black hell chicken cultivated a trace of demonic power, it actually inherited a demonic cultivation technique. It was very surprised. Hanju understood that this was the cultivation technique of the demon saint in his previous life. That was good too. Hanju didn't need to teach it too much. Lai Kingzi came to visit him again and talked about the Raincoat sect. Recently, the Raincoat sect seemed to have vanished and no longer targeted the Jade Pure sect. Lai Qingzi finally found out the location where the geniuses of the Jade Pure sect were imprisoned. He wanted to ask Hanju for help. Hanju said seriously, "Perhaps this is a ploy to lure me away from the sect. Once I leave, if the Raincoat sect comes, can you stop them? After all, even a nascent soul expert can only be a deacon in the Raincoat sect." Lai Qingzi was silent. That was very possible. In that case, even if he saved those geniuses, it would be useless. Then, I'll do it myself. Elder Han, I'll leave the Jade Pure sect to you, Lai Qingzi said solemnly. Hanju nodded. Unless we encounter a void amalgamation expert, no one can take down the Jade Pure sect. Lai Qingzi beamed. It seemed that Hanju had become stronger during this period. Lai Qingzi left in satisfaction. Hanju thought for a moment and started the simulation trial. He set Duan Tongshan's cultivation level to the 9th level of the soul formation realm. Hanju barely fought to a draw. This caused him to panic. One had to know that the simulation trial could only set cultivation levels. The difference between the 9th level of the soul formation realm and the 1st level of the soul formation realm was also very huge. When Duan Tongshan truly cultivated to the 9th level of the soul formation realm, his strength would definitely be stronger than him in the simulation trial. Moreover, Duan Tongshan had only broken through to the soul formation realm because of Tio. He was a little weak. I have to break through to the soul formation realm as soon as possible. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep well. Hanju thought silently. He clicked on interpersonal relationships and checked his friend's status. Your disciple, Yang Tiandong, was attacked by the Raincoat sect, X29. Your friend, Zhu Fan, was attacked by the Raincoat sect, X48. His poor disciple was still being beaten. Hanju was not too worried. After being attacked so many times, he was still alive. What did that mean? The Raincoat sect truly loved talents and couldn't bear to kill them. Could it be that the Raincoat sect wasn't part of the demonic path? Hanju thought silently. Then he continued cultivating. Dear disciple, hold on. Your master is still cultivating diligently. When he's confident enough, he'll definitely save you. In a dark pavilion, 4 men in raincoats sat around a table. They all wore straw hats that hid their faces. One of them asked in a low voice, "Why isn't Yi Sanling back yet?" The others followed suit. Did something happen? Yi Sanling is an expert at the 7th level of the nascent soul realm. Other than the deity-slaying elder, no one in the Jade Pure sect can hold him back, not to mention that there are spies coordinating inside and out. Who is that spy? I'm not sure. Only Yi Sanling knows about it. There's only one contact between each spy and the sect master. Sect master is too cautious. In my opinion, it would be better to just trample over the Jade Pure sect. Also, those disciples of the Jade Pure sect should be killed if they aren't giving in. The 4 of them started to complain about their sect master. In their opinion, although the deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect was strong, he was no match for the sect master. Moreover, other than the sect master, there were other soul formation experts in the Raincoat sect. Bang! The door was suddenly kicked open. A golden-robed man strode into the room. His golden robes were embroidered with tigers and leopards, and he wore a dagger-like silver-blue jade crown. He had a handsome face, bright eyes, and a sense of pride between his brows. The 4 men in raincoats slapped the table and got up. How dare you? One of them pulled out a knife from his waist and prepared to slash at the golden-robed man. The golden-robed man's gaze turned cold, and a terrifying pressure erupted. The entire pavilion shook violently, and the 4 men in raincoats were so frightened that they didn't dare to move. One of them gritted his teeth and asked, "Who are you?" The golden-robed man said expressionlessly, "I'm Huang Jihao of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. I heard that you are from the Raincoat sect. It just so happens that I want to challenge the Raincoat sect." Tell me, where is the sect master? Huang Jihao. The four of them trembled even harder. Recently, Huang Jihao's fame had become too great. One of the men in raincoats suddenly said, "If we say it, we'll definitely die. However, if you challenge the Jade Pure Sect first, we can give you the location of the Raincoat Sect." Chapter 42. Huang Jihao's Challenge. Challenge the Jade Pure Sect. Huang Jihao frowned and coldly said, "Such a desolate sect is not challenging at all." His tone was filled with disdain for the Jade Pure Sect. A Raincoat Sect member hurriedly said, "Recently, a deity-slaying elder appeared in the Jade Pure Sect. He killed a soul formation expert with one strike. His strength is unfathomable." Hearing this, Huang Jihao couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. "I fought with the sect master and great-grand elder of the Jade Pure Sect. Their strength is average, and I've never heard of this deity-slaying elder. Don't lie to me." Huang Jihao spoke in a low voice. His terrifying aura didn't diminish in the slightest. "I dare not lie. It's true, you can go out and ask around." The viridescent nether cult was destroyed because of this person. The other Raincoat Sect members said anxiously. The four of them combined were not Huang Jihao's match. They were afraid that he would attack them. Huang Jihao's eyes flickered. "Tell me the location of the Raincoat Sect first." "I'll challenge the Jade Pure Sect first, then the Raincoat Sect." The four Raincoat Sect members looked at each other. In order to survive, they finally compromised. After a while, Huang Jihao left. The four Raincoat Sect members let out a long breath and collapsed onto their chairs. "How strong is this guy?" One of them gritted his teeth. Another person scolded, "It's not important. What's important is that I think there's something wrong with this inn. Where's the soundproofing and divine sense isolation?" Jade Pure Sect. 2 years had passed since Lai Qingzi left. Hanju was still at the 6th level of the nascent soul realm. With the help of Yi Sanlang's pills, he was already close to the 7th level. The black hell chicken was already half a meter tall, but Hanju had tested its skeletal age. It was still far from maturing. One fine day, Chang Yuer came to visit. It had been many years since she had last seen the black hell chicken. She couldn't help but walk over and touch it. "Itchy, itchy." The black hell chicken resisted and retreated. Hearing its childish voice, Chang Yuer was even more interested. Hanju couldn't help but say, "Stop touching it. This is my precious mount. If you hurt it, can you afford to compensate me?" "Tech, so be it if I have to compensate you. Using a chicken as a mount, you're really something." Chang Yuer pouted. Although she said that, her body was still very obedient. She turned around and came in front of him. She sized up Hanju and smiled. "Junior Han, I find your face pleasing to the eye every time I see it. I wonder how outstanding your parents are." "Parents? Oh. They were nothing extraordinary." Hanju smiled in his heart. All these years, Hanju would occasionally think of his parents in this life. More than 100 years had passed. If they were still mortals, they would have been long dead. That was good. It saved him a lot of trouble. Hanju's parents in this life were not very close. When they abandoned Hanju and fled, their blood ties ended. If it were his parents in his previous life, they would definitely not give up on him. Cheng Yuer continued, "I heard that Elder Guan is coming back. Have you heard of Elder Guan? He and our master entered the Jade Pure Sect together. However, 300 years ago, he offended the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. In order to avoid suspicion, the Grand Elder secretly sent him out of the Great Yan dynasty. Half a year ago, he used a spell to say that he was coming back and wanted to fight for the position of Sect Master." Hanju shook his head. He had never heard of such a thing. He had never heard of such a person either. It's said that Elder Guan likes our master very much. He might become our master's Tao companion, Chang Yuer continued. Hanju shrugged. He was dreaming. Fairy Xiaoxuan didn't allow her disciples to become Tao companions. How could she break the rules herself? He asked. Is that Elder Guan very strong? Cheng Yuer nodded and said, it's said that he obtained an opportunity outside the Great Yan and has already become a soul formation cultivator. This time, he has returned to lead the Jade Pure sect to surpass the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. The elders are all very happy. With one more soul formation cultivator in the Jade Pure sect, we will have more confidence in dealing with the Raincoat sect. The Great Grand Elder is also very happy. But the sect master is out and doesn't know about this. Hanju couldn't help but mourn for Lai Qingzi. He had worked so hard for so many years, only to lose his position. Just as Hanju was about to ask more about Elder Guan, a line of words suddenly appeared in front of him. Detected bearer of connate Providence, checking its origin. Hanju was stunned. Another bearer of connate Providence? Was the Jade Pure sect really so lucky? Why was it that there was always someone with a powerful background? Hanju hurriedly checked. Huang Jihao, 3rd level of the Soul Formation Realm, an external elder of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. Born with the heart of the sword, he has an extremely high comprehension of the sword Dao. Because of his unparalleled aptitude from a young age, he has developed a haughty attitude. In order to become stronger, he can give up everything. Huang Jihao. F***Kik. Why was this fellow here? Was he going to challenge the Jade Pure sect? Hanju had a headache. Couldn't he just cultivate properly? A choice notification appeared in front of Hanju. The Jade Pure sect faces Huang Jihao's challenge. You have the following choices. 1. Order the entire sect to encircle and annihilate Huang Jihao and obtain victory. Your name will shake the world and you will obtain a fire attribute cultivation technique manual. 2. Secretly repel Huang Jihao without causing too much of a commotion. You can obtain a numinous treasure. Hanju chose the second option. Being high profile was not his style. Moreover, if he openly defeated Huang Jihao, the Vermilion Bird Sword sect would definitely become enemies with the Jade Pure sect. Hanju had yet to figure out Huang Jihao's ranking in the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. Even if he was the strongest, if the Vermilion Bird Sword sect and the Raincoat sect joined forces, the Jade Pure sect would not be able to handle it. The Jade Pure sect is still too weak, Hanju sighed. He looked at Cheng Yuer and said, go back first. I have something to do. What is it? It's not convenient to say. Titch. Cheng Yuer curled her lips and left. She was still chatting happily but had been asked to leave. Anyone would feel disappointed. After Cheng Yuer left, Hanju began to use the simulation trial to search for Huang Jihao's location. At this moment, Huang Jihao was less than 20 kilometers away from the Jade Pure sect. He was walking very slowly. Hanju didn't move immediately. Hold on. Let's have a simulation trial battle. Hanju's consciousness entered the simulation trial. 5 minutes later, he ended the simulation trial. He frowned. He's not bad at all. Hanju took a deep breath and continued the simulation trial. He couldn't insta-kill the guy. This guy is only at the 3rd level of the Soul Formation Realm. Hanju changed his fighting style. 2 minutes later, the simulation ended. Hanju frowned again and muttered, as expected of the innate heart of the sword, he can actually last 2 minutes against me. Hanju was vexed. The battle commotion was too loud. 2 minutes was enough to attract many people. The opponent was not easy to deal with. He had no choice. Even if it was difficult, he still had to go. When the battle reached the Jade Pure sect, it would truly be earth-shattering. In the forest, Huang Jihao slowly walked forward. His expression was very calm, not the least bit nervous about the upcoming battle. A figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Hanju. He was wearing the daoist robe of the Jade Pure sect and his bearing was graceful. He was obviously not immortal. Huang Jihao glanced at him. 9th level of Foundation Establishment Realm. So weak. But he was handsome. Huang Jihao has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 2 stars. A line of words suddenly appeared in front of Han Ju. He was stunned. What the hell? Chapter 43. 6th grade defensive numinous treasure, severely injured elder. Why did he suddenly have a favorable impression of me? Han Ju frowned. Things were getting harder. It was difficult for him to do anything to someone who liked him. Huang Jihao walked in front of Han Ju and said, "Brat, I have an affinity with you. Do you want to take me as your master? It won't be difficult for you to reach the nascent soul realm in the future." To Foundation Establishment cultivators, the nascent soul realm was the biggest dream. He didn't believe that Han Ju wouldn't be moved. Affinity? Han Ju had a strange look. What sort of affinity could there be between men? Could it be? Han Ju shivered and felt goosebumps. He took a step back. Who are you? Why are you here at the J Pure sect? Han Ju asked in a low voice. Huang Jihao teased. I'm Huang Jihao of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. Have you heard of me? I came to the J Pure sect, this time to challenge your deity-slaying elder. Han Ju asked, why challenge the deity-slaying elder and not the sect master? Your sect master and former sect master were defeated by me long ago. Only the deity-slaying elder has the right to make me fight. I originally couldn't be bothered to deal with you and wanted to challenge the Raincoat sect. However, the people of the Raincoat sect insisted that I deal with the deity-slaying elder before telling me their location. Huang Jihao spoke very casually, causing Han Ju's hatred for the Raincoat sect to soar to 6 stars. Han Ju asked, are there many soul formation experts in the Raincoat sect? How's their sect master's strength? There are indeed many soul formation cultivators. After all, they have thousands of years of foundation. As for their leader, he's very mysterious. I'm not sure either. What are your chances of challenging the Raincoat sect? Why are you asking so many questions? Are you going to acknowledge me as your master or not? Huang Jihao's favorability towards you has decreased. Current favorability, 1 star. Huang Jihao looked impatient. Han Ju was amused. I'm just asking you a few more questions, but your good impression of me is already half gone. Great. Then, I won't be soft-hearted against you. Han Ju directly took out the Kylan sword and said, if you can receive 1 strike from me, I will acknowledge you as my master. Huang Jihao was also amused. Kid, have you never heard of my name? I'm asking you, do you dare to face my sword? All right. I'll take your strike. If you can injure me in the slightest, I'll turn around and leave. I won't disturb the J Pure sect anymore. You said it. Of course. Huang Jihao was proud and arrogant. After confirming that Han Ju was only at the 9th level of the Foundation Establishment Realm, he didn't take his words to heart at all. Han Ju suddenly attacked. The 6 paths spirit energy in his body erupted like a volcano and poured into the Kylan sword. Huang Jihao's eyes widened. This spirit energy. Crap. Huang Jihao hurriedly raised his hands and circulated the surging spirit energy within his body. Sword light flashed, and a black sword he cut through the forest. It soared into the sky and cut the sea of clouds in half. It was a spectacular sight. Then the ground shook and dust flew. Huang Jihao gritted his teeth and used all his strength to block the sword Hui of the heavenly punishment ghost deity sword. The terrifying sword Qi forced him to retreat. The protective shield formed by his spirit energy cracked like glass. Not good. He couldn't block it. Huang Jihao cursed under his breath and hurriedly leaped up. The moment he did so, Han Ju's sword Hui invaded his body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. His body also leaped thousands of feet away. The sword aura swept out and crushed the trees along the way. A huge ravine appeared on the ground. It was unfathomable, like a narrow valley. Huang Jihao stopped and looked at Han Ju in shock. What sword technique is this? No. It's a mystical power. The famous Huang Jihao shouldn't go back on his word, right? Han Ju looked up and asked expressionlessly. Huang Jihao has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 4 stars. Han Ju didn't panic, he stared at Huang Jihao. Huang Jihao trembled in anger. He wanted to kill Han Ju, but he had already said that, so he would not slap his own face. In addition, Han Ju's sword ki was indeed powerful. If they really fought to the death, he might not be able to win. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Who are you?" "You came to find me, and you ask who I am." Huang Jihao laughed in anger. This was the deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect. I knew it. He lives up to his reputation. Humph. Although I won't come to the Jade Pure sect anymore, I'll challenge you again after you leave. With that, Huang Jihao left. Han Ju smiled disdainfully and thought to himself, wait for me to leave the Jade Pure sect. Can you wait your whole life? He turned around and left. Not long after, the elders of the Jade Pure sect rushed over. When they saw the scene of the sword ki slashing past, they couldn't help but feel alarmed. However, they guessed that it was Han Ju. Otherwise, the battle would not have stopped. Is there another powerful enemy? After leaving the Jade Pure sect, Huang Jihao stood on his flying sword, feeling indignant as he healed his injuries. Damn it, how dare you trick me? Huang Jihao was about to go mad. If Han Ju had revealed his identity from the start, how could he have been careless? If he had been on guard, how could he not have taken the blow? All right. He couldn't block it regardless. But he wouldn't have agreed so easily. Sigh. I was careless. Just as Huang Jihao was in depression, a figure appeared in front of him, blocking his path. Who are you? Why did you come from the Jade Pure sect? The newcomer was a cultivator in green. He was handsome and imposing. He carried a sword case on his back with 4 swords inside. Huang Jihao was in an extremely bad mood. He immediately snorted. What does that have to do with you? Scram. The green-robed cultivator laughed. How dare you be so impolite to me? Aren't you afraid of death? Haha. Who do you think you are? Then, let's fight. Let's see who's the real deal. You're courting death. Boom. Back in the cave abode. Han Ju had just sat down when 2 lines of words appeared in front of him. You secretly defeated Huang Jihao and obtained a numinous treasure. Congratulations on attaining a 6th grade numinous treasure, Burning Fiend Bell. Burning Fiend Bell. A 6th grade defensive numinous treasure. It can defend against all attacks below the Void Amalgamation realm. After injecting Spirit Ki, the bell body will increase in weight as Spirit Ki is injected until it becomes as heavy as a mountain. Huh! What a treasure! It could defend against all attacks below the void amalgamation realm. Great. Hanju took out the burning fiend bell happily and sized it up carefully. The bell was black and exuded an ancient and evil aura. Hanju immediately started to drip blood on it. An hour later, he played with the burning fiend bell. After successfully bonding with it, the burning fiend bell was like his arm. When it enveloped him, he felt extremely safe. Wearing the golden cicada's mystic divine robe, and covered with the burning fiend bell, he could dominate everything under the heavens. Hanju was extremely proud. Then he continued cultivating. The next morning, Fairy Cultivate came to visit him. This was the first time she took the initiative to look for Hanju. Hanju stood up. "You told you about my senior, Guan Yuging. He returned yesterday, but he encountered Huangji Hao near the Jade Pure sect and was severely injured." Fairy Xuan stopped in front of Hanju and said directly, "Eh? The fellow who said he wanted to be the sect master has just arrived and he's already beaten up." Hanju couldn't help but mourn for him. Guan Yuging was a little weak. Huangji Hao was already injured, yet he still couldn't defeat him under such circumstances. Such a person wanted to become Dao companions with his master. Chapter 44. Immortal Domain Meeting, 10 Soul Formation Cultivators. How unfortunate, Hanju sighed. What else could he say when Fairy Xuan mentioned this? Fairy Xuan stared at him and asked. Senior Guan said that he happened to encounter Huangji Hao coming out of the Jade Pure sect. A forest near the sect was destroyed. It's suspected to be some kind of sword kai. Did Huangji Hao want to challenge our Jade Pure sect but was repelled by you? Hanju nodded and said, yes. Fairy Xuan sighed. I didn't expect the famous Huangji Hao to be defeated by a junior like you. Hanju gestured for her to sit down. Fairy Xuan sat on a nearby chair and continued, I came to find you because I hope that you can help me suppress Senior Guan. Suppress Guan Yuging? Hanju was confused. Sect Master might not be as powerful as Senior Guan, but he has done his best for the sect. For the Jade Pure sect's sake, he even delayed his cultivation. It would be a pity to take him down from the position of Sect Master. Besides, this Senior Guan of mine is only seeking revenge and not really considering the sect. When his injuries are healed, I'll let him challenge you first. If he can defeat you, he can become Sect Master. How about it? Fairy Xuan said softly, her tone and gaze unchanged. Hanju hesitated and said, yes, but it's best to quietly carry out this battle. If it's spread in the sect, it will definitely spread in the cultivation world. I don't want to be in the limelight too much. Otherwise, it will attract endless trouble. Previously, I helped the Jade Pure sect deal with the viridescent nether cult and made a name for myself. This is also why Huangji Hao came. Of course, this will save Senior Guan some face. Hanju nodded. Fairy Xuan suddenly looked at the black hell chicken in the corner and asked in surprise, how did you raise this chicken? It looks extraordinary. The black hell chicken raised its head and snorted. I'm a phoenix. Master told me that I will become a phoenix sooner or later. Fairy Xuan smiled. A chicken wanted to become a phoenix? I got it from a farmer from the sect. It's quite boring to cultivate normally. It's not bad to have company, Hanju explained with a smile. He said nothing about the black hell chicken's origins. Even if he did, who would believe him? The difference between a chicken and a phoenix was like that between a snake and a dragon. Fairy Xiaoxuan looked at him again and said, "The immortal domain meeting that happens once every 100 years is about to begin. I have the immortal domain token and can give it to you. This meeting is a rare event. You can obtain all the equipment, pills, treasures, and even cultivation techniques you want there, as long as you have enough resources." Immortal domain meeting? It sounded very impressive and lively. If this was in a novel, it would definitely be a grand occasion for the protagonist to show off. If he wasn't careful, he might gain new enemies. He couldn't go. Hanju refused politely. "Thank you for your kind intentions, master. I just want to enter seclusion. With my potential, I don't need to go out and take risks for the time being." Fairy Xiaoxuan nodded. She then stood up and left. Hanju stood up to send her off. After Fairy Xiaoxuan left, he returned to the bed and started cultivating. Immortal domain meeting. Tesk. When I reach the Mahayana realm, I can go take a look. Hanju thought silently as he circulated his ki. The Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. As a righteous sect in the cultivation world of the Great Yan Dynasty, there were nearly 10,000 disciples in the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. Most of them cultivated in the way of the sword. The strongest sword cultivators in the Great Yan Dynasty were all from the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. Within the sect master's chambers, Huangji Hao sat on a mat, his expression extremely ugly. Seated at the head of the table was the sect master of the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect, Tang Han. Tang Han looked to be in his 30s or 40s. He was also considered handsome. Under his sharp brows, his eyes were sharp. A sword floated on both sides of him. He also exuded an extremely sharp aura. "You couldn't even take a single strike from him?" Tang Han asked with a frown. Huangji Hao gritted his teeth. "Although I don't want to admit it, it's true. His spirit energy is extremely overbearing. This is the first time I've encountered such spirit energy. It's not a common attribute, nor is it a rare spirit root. I can't say for sure." Recalling the scene when he faced the heavenly punishment ghost deity sword, he couldn't help but shiver. Also what? This person is extremely good-looking. In terms of looks, no one in our Vermilion Bird Sword Sect can compare to him. Is that important? Well, not that important. Huangji Hao sighed. For some reason, there was a hint of pity in his tone. Tang Han frowned. He didn't expect the Jade Pure Sect to have such a figure. In the outside world, Huangji Hao represented the highest combat power of the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. Although he felt that he was stronger than Huangji Hao, he was not that much stronger. Huangji Hao continued, "That's right, the Raincoat Sect has appeared, and is still targeting the Jade Pure Sect. After I recover, I plan to challenge them." Tang Han nodded and said, "Although the Raincoat Sect started to decline 1,000 years ago, its foundation can't be underestimated. Previously, the Great Grand Elder of the Jade Pure Sect came to me, hoping that the righteous path would join forces to fight against the Raincoat Sect. I didn't agree. If that person doesn't die, the Raincoat Sect can't perish." "Who is that person?" "The leader of the Raincoat Sect. This person was like you when he was young. He was high-spirited and by chance, he fell into the demonic path and became the leader of the Raincoat Sect. I heard from Grandmaster that in his generation, the leader of the Raincoat Sect was the strongest. This time you can test his strength, but don't be reckless. If you can't defeat him, quickly retreat. Don't worry. I may be arrogant, but I'm not stupid." Of course. 7 years passed quickly after Fairy Xiaoxuan visited him. Hanju's cultivation level had reached the 7th level of the nascent soul realm, and he was already chasing after the 8th. Besides training, Hanju had been paying attention to other people's situations through the interpersonal relationships function and emails. After Yang Tandong and Zhao Fan were caught by the Raincoat sect, their cultivation levels increased. In the past few years, they had not been attacked by the Raincoat Saint either. It seemed like they had given in. However, their identities didn't become disciples of the Raincoat sect. Hanju guessed that they were only pretending to give in. Lai Kingzi, on the other hand, was frequently attacked by the Raincoat sect and was frequently injured. This sect master was really working too hard. For the sake of his disciples, he had been running around everywhere. He was injured all the time and would continue to be injured when he recovered. In addition, Guan Yubing had never come to find Hanju. Hanju could understand. Even Huang Jihao was no match for him. How could this fellow dare to challenge him? It was worth mentioning that the black hell chicken had grown faster and faster recently. Its strength was already equivalent to an 8th level key refinement realm cultivator. Not to mention a chicken, even if it was a cultivator, very few could achieve this speed. The more it grew, the more curious it became about the outside world. Hanju had to brainwash it. It's very dangerous outside. Many people want to eat you. You must be invincible before you can leave. Otherwise, you will definitely die. Even I, your master, don't dare to leave either. As time passed, the black hell chicken no longer dared to think about leaving. It only wanted to cultivate. One fine day, Lai Kingzi visited again. Hanju noticed that his aura was weak and his expression was not good. It seemed that he was seriously injured this time. Lai Kingzi gritted his teeth and said, "Something terrible has happened. Maple Leaf Valley has been destroyed by the Raincoat sect. The next target is most likely our J Pure sect." Before Maple Leaf Valley's sect master passed away, he sent a message to me. He said that there are 10 soul formation cultivators in the Raincoat sect, and they are enough to sweep through the cultivation world of the Great Yan dynasty. When Hanju heard that, he asked, "Then, why aren't we running?" Lai Kingzi was stunned. Chapter 45. Innate Dao Heart, Attention from the Demon Lord. Why aren't we running? Is this something you should say? Lai Kingzi roared in his heart. The reason why he came to find Hanju was to let him know so that he could prepare. He didn't expect Hanju to want to leave directly. Lai Kingzi said gloomily, "Where can we escape to? There are so many disciples. Even if we escape, we have to escape from the Great Yan cultivation world. However, if we go to other cultivation worlds, those sects will definitely not let us have a foothold and will only swallow us. The J Pure sect will still perish." Hanju frowned. He wanted to say that it was fine if the J Pure sect perished, as long as they were still alive. The J Pure sect is in danger of being annihilated. You have the following choices. 1. Immediately run away. You will be hunted down by the Raincoat sect as you wander the world. You can obtain equipment. 2. Protect the sect. People only live once, you cannot retreat forever. After defeating the Raincoat sect, you can obtain a numinous treasure, a sword technique manual, and an egg of a divine beast of Providence. Hanju didn't make a decision immediately but thought carefully. Even if he escaped, where could he run to? After exterminating the J Pure sect, the Raincoat sect would definitely continue to attack and sweep through the cultivation world of the Great Yan dynasty unless they joined them. Join if he couldn't win. This was no longer keeping a low profile, it was cowardice. Why don't we wait and see? If we can't beat him, we can still escape. He wore the golden cicada's mystic divine robe and held the burning fiend bell. With the wind god technique, how could he not escape? Hanju asked, "When will the Raincoat sect come?" 10 years at most. It will take them time to clean up the mess in Maple Leaf Valley. Hanju sighed and said, "Sect Master, why is our J Pure sect being targeted one after another? I thought that our sect was very strong." Lai Kingzi was embarrassed and blushed. He gritted his teeth and said, "The Jade Pure sect is indeed powerful, but the strongest one, who is also the founding ancestor, went to search for the path of becoming a land deity. He left for 500 years without any news. If he was here, how would they dare to attack us? 1,000 years ago, in the final battle against the Raincoat sect, the founding ancestor was the greatest contributor." Hanju raised his eyebrows. In other words, the Raincoat sect is seeking revenge. Lai Qingzi nodded helplessly. To mortals, 1,000 years was extremely long, but in the cultivation world, it was not. Especially to a sect, Lai Qingzi was the third-generation sect master of the Jade Pure sect, and his master, the Great-Grand Elder, was the second. The founder left behind a treasure to contact him. The Great-Grand Elder and I have already used it. I wonder if the founder can sense it. If he can return, the Raincoat sect will be nothing to worry about. At that time, we will definitely become the strongest sect in the Great Yan cultivation world. Elder Han, we have to grit our teeth and endure this. As long as we can endure it, we won't have any threats in the future. You can cultivate in peace. The founder might even be able to teach you the cultivation techniques from the land of immortals. Lai Qingzi grabbed his hand and said in a serious tone. Hanju almost had goosebumps. He quickly pulled his hand back and sighed. "All right, I'll face the Raincoat sect with you. But let me say this first. If I can't win, I can only run." Lai Qingzi nodded solemnly and said, "If we really can't win, I won't let you die with us." The two of them chatted for a while more before Lai Qingzi left. Hanju wanted to ask him to take some pills to help him increase his cultivation, but Lai Qingzi awkwardly said that the Jade Pure sect did not have any pills suitable for nascent soul realm cultivation. The Jade Pure sect lacked alchemists. Hanju turned to look at the black hell chicken and said, "Do you see? It's really dangerous. Even if we don't cause trouble, there are enemies who want to kill us everywhere." The black hell chicken nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. "Master, are you confident?" "No." "Ah, shall we run quietly?" Not bad, you've already received my teachings." "Really? We'll wait for a while." That day, Hanju came to the inner sect and bought a beast taming bag. It was convenient to bring the black hell chicken along like this. After leaving the pavilion, just as he was about to return, a line of words suddenly appeared before his eyes. Detected bearer of connate Providence, checking its origin. Another bearer of connate Providence. The Jade Pure sect was truly a Providence magnet. Hanju immediately chose to check. Ixuan Qingzhen, third level of the Foundation Establishment realm. Her true identity is the Demon Lord's mortal body. She was born with an innate Tao heart and is extremely talented. 800 years ago, the Demon Lord wanted to surpass the Tao and ascend. Therefore, she created a mortal body. The main body is sealed in the depths of the essence soul. The mortal body travels the world and experiences the various aspects of life, consolidating the Tao heart. There are traces of her everywhere in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. 3 years ago, she joined the Jade Pure sect and has been hiding there since. Demon Lord. That was impressive. She had an innate Tao heart even as a demon. What kind of reverse cliché was this? Hanju was speechless. He followed the system's instructions and sought Ixuan Qingzhen. This woman wore the Daoist robe of the Jade Pure sect. Her figure was average and she was not outstandingly beautiful from the back. When she turned her head, Hanju assessed her. Her looks were average. She was a very ordinary female disciple. If one scanned the streets, they would easily pass her by without noticing her. Ixuan Qingzhen stood by the street, watching people argue. 2 male disciples fought over a beautiful female disciple. Should I seduce the Demon Lord? She's about to ascend and is at least a Mahayana cultivator. Hanju thought silently. Then he shook his head. Forget it. He wanted to avoid trouble. Hanju turned around and left. At this time, he didn't notice Xuan Qingzhen glancing at him. Xuan Qingzhen has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star. Hanju paused, his face full of question marks. What the hell? He turned around and met Xuan Qingzhen's gaze. Crap. The demon lord was paying attention to him. Hanju panicked for some reason and smiled politely at her. Xuan Qingzhen's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 2 stars. Hanju hurriedly left. Xuan Qingzhen turned around and followed him. After leaving the inner sect city, Hanju immediately used the wind god technique and returned quickly. After returning to the connate cave abode, Hanju sat on the bed in a panic. I hope she just thinks I'm pretty and doesn't really have her eyes on me. Hanju thought silently. He wasn't stupid. Even if Xuan Qingzhen liked him, he wouldn't have a better life. After all, she was the demon lord. How many years had she been roaming the mortal world? How could she fall in love with someone at first sight and give up everything? If Hanju tried to please her, there would only be one outcome. Slavery. Xuan Qingzhen came to the cave abode and saw the words on the mountain wall. Endure today, freedom tomorrow. She tried not to laugh. This kid is interesting. Xuan Qingzhen smiled. But then her expression suddenly turned serious. These words make sense. Xuan Qingzhen thought for a moment and left. After she left, Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. I hope she'll give up the desire for me, Hanju muttered to himself. The black hell chicken asked, What desire? Hanju said angrily, My desire to eat you. Ah, that woman wanted to eat you, master? In other words, was that woman stronger than Hanju? Hanju had a strange expression and said, In a sense, yes.